Yo, what is up, boys? Welcome back to another video. I just got done getting so pissed off at Madden. Oh my god. This shit is broken. Anyways, that's besides the point. Today, we have another video, and today we are going over, speaking of Madden NFL, we have This Week in the NFL, and my phone is about to die, so I might have to go snag a charger real quick. Yes, so let me do that. One moment, boys. Did this reach all the way over? No fucking chance. Alright. You guys can see the setup for a few moments there. I will be right back. We'll go over all of this week's games. And we'll go over all of this week's games as we usually do. Starting off with the Tuesday games, then we'll get into the Thursday games, then the Saturday game, then the Sunday game, then the Monday game. Telling you, the NFL is complicated. Anyways, first of all, we'll talk about the Seahawks and Rams. Cooper Kupp's two touchdown catches carries the Rams past the Seahawks. They win by 10. Man, oh man, is Cooper Kupp having a year, and he's going to continue to do so. This is big for the Rams because they're right there with the Cardinals. Now, I'm not sure how their season series is, but they're both tied at 10-4, and I don't think the Seattle Seahawks really have much of a chance anymore. I mean, they're probably going to get eliminated from the playoffs if they don't do anything in the next week or so. Kind of sad they're looking at the box score. Russell Wilson, 156 and an interception. Very bad game. Stafford had 244 yards. He started off with a pick, but he had those two touchdowns to Cooper Kupp, his number one man. Sony Michel had a really good game. 18 carries, 92 yards. Dallas, okay, 8 carries, 41 yards, a touchdown. I called it. Gerald Everett would be the number one receiving guy tonight for the Seahawks, and he was 60 yards receiving. Cooper Kupp 136 and 2 touchdowns. Another amazing another amazing game. Let's get into Washington Eagles. We don't have too much time here. Jalen Hurts has 3 touchdowns. Eagles come back to beat Washington. Now I thought the Washington was going to win at first. Both of these games had big stipulations, I guess you could say. The Eagles are now 500, and I mean Washington's about a game out of the playoffs. They can still turn it around. They're very much in it. Let's just look at the box score. Gilbert in his first game, not too bad. 20 for 31, 194. He didn't get on the scoreboard, but Antonio Gibson did. 26 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Hurts, 296 for a touchdown and an interception, as well as 38 yards rushing. Miles Sanders, what a good game from him. 18 carries, 131 yards. Dallas Goedert, one of the most underrated tight ends in the league. He had 135 yards receiving. McLaurin had 2 catches, but for 51 yards. I heard the Seahawks got screwed over on a call, by the way. I just wanted to make that known. Let's move on here to the next matchup. We're talking about the Thursday matchup. Kelsey's OT touchdown gives the Chiefs a 6-point win over the Chargers. Very big game in terms of division. I think the Chiefs are the best team in the NBA, in the AFC now. We're done talking about the NBA for the week, but yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good game. Stupid coaching decisions from the Chargers, going 4th down 5 times, only getting it once. That costed them like 9 points, so very ashamed in them there. Mahomes, though, 410 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Another really good matchup between Herbert and Mahomes. We're going to start seeing that over the next few years. Justin Herbert, 236, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Jackson had 86 yards rushing, and Mahomes was the leading rusher for Kansas City, 32 yards. Travis Kelce, monster game, 191 yards, 2 touchdowns. Keenan Allen, a nice little 78 yards and a touchdown. Really good divisional games this week. Yeah, nothing too much to say about that game. Let's move on into Saturday, where we had the Patriots taking on the Colts. Jonathan Taylor helps the Colts turn the tables on Patriots with a 10-point victory. Jonathan Taylor, about 63-yard touchdown, pretty much a walk-off. My goodness, he is solidifying himself as an MVP of the league, and personally, I think he deserves it. Tom Brady is having a superb year. We will talk about a downfall he had this week in a second, or in a little bit. I don't know how long that's going to take, but dude, Carson Wentz won off of 57 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Meanwhile, Mac Jones is over here slinging nearly 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Colts defense was playing phenomenal, though. Stevenson, 36 yards. Jonathan Taylor, 170 yards, and a touchdown. Literally the only good thing that happened with the Colts passing wise was Pascal had a nice little 23-yard reception, and Hunter Henry had 77 receptions and 2 touchdowns, so a really good game there for Hunter Henry. That's the guy they one of their big acquisitions in the offseason. But anyways, let's move on to Sunday. We're going to start with my Packers. We always start with the Packers when they play on Sunday. Packers clinch the division after the Ravens' two-point try fails. I think this is 2 weeks in a row where Harbaugh is really, really confident in his team. He went for two. I'm happy he did because they didn't get it, and it cost them the game. Very unfortunate for them, though. Aaron Rodgers, man, he's been lighting it up the last few weeks. 268 for 3 touchdowns. Huntley, 215 for 2 touchdowns. Man, I'm impressed. I got to give some respect to my man Huntley. Huntley also had 73 yards and 2 touchdowns rushing. I had no idea. Aaron Jones had a nice little 58 yards. Valdez-Scantling, who was unfortunately on the COVID list, had 98 yards and a touchdown. And Mark Andrews was babying our defense, put up 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. Darnell Savage was getting destroyed. He kind of learned throughout the game how to play the routes of his. But, man, great game. Shout out to Mark Andrews. Shout out to the Ravens for a good effort without Lamar. They're still 8-6. I wish them the best luck on the rest of their season. Panthers and Bills. Bills end a 2-game skid, which is crazy to say, with a 17-point win over the spiraling Panthers. Very bad Panthers team here. Cam Newton, 156 yards, a touchdown pick. Josh Allen, a nice little 210 for 3 touchdowns and a pick. Cam Newton, 71 yards and a touchdown, and Singletary had 86 yards and a touchdown, so Cam Newton was most of their offense. I think Amir Abdullah is his name. Receiving-wise, he had 48 yards and a touchdown, and Gabriel Davis had 85 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's very surprising. Gabriel Davis is definitely a rising star, It shows that, Josh Allen has someone else to rely on. He's usually throwing to Stephon Diggs, and, Buffalo is 8-6. They still got a good season going, but despite that 2-game skid, that's very unfortunate, but they pulled it off this week. Obviously not a very good Panthers team. Panthers are damn near out of the playoffs for the year, but good game for the Bills. Cardinals and Lions. Oh my goodness, one of the biggest upsets of the entire year. Literally like a top 2 team in the league against the worst team in the league. Well, besides the Jaguars. I guess the Jaguars might be. Cardinals lose their chance to clinch. They lose by 18 points to the lowly Lions. And Dan Campbell was so proud of this one. I would be too, man. Shout out to the Lions. I actually really like that they did this because it knocked Cardinals out of first place in the NFC. Shout out to them. Murray at 257 for a touchdown and a pick. Goff had 216 for 3 touchdowns off a 21 for 26. What a game there. That's amazing. Chase Edmonds, 53 yards rushing. Reynolds, on the other hand, oh my gosh, Craig Reynolds, 112 yards rushing. Monra St. Brown, my boy Equanimeous St. Brown for the Packers' little brother, 90 yards and a touchdown. Christian Kirk had a nice 94 yards and a touchdown, but it wasn't quite enough. Wow, great win for Detroit. Shout out to Detroit there. Let's move on to Jets and Dolphins. Dolphins extend their winning streak to 6. They rally past the Jets. They won by 7. Things were looking a little shaky for Miami, but they got it into gear. Tua had 196 for 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. Zach Wilson had 170 yards, and that is about it. Duke Johnson was looking unstoppable. I was actually watching this game because I'm really hyped about the Miami Dolphins playing good. My grandpa is actually a Miami Dolphins fan, so that's cool. 107 yards and 2 touchdowns for Duke Johnson. Tevin Coleman had a nice little 50 yards, I guess. Receiving-wise, they were like, oh, Devontae Parker needs to step up. What do you mean step up? He's been their best receiver since he's gotten there, damn near. Obviously, besides like Jarvis Landry, but this man had 68 yards and a touchdown out of the 196 yards. So that's a pretty big deal. And Jay Crowder, 40 yards receiving, not the best. Zach Wilson didn't have a very good game. He was definitely absent. I don't even know who scored all of their touchdowns, if I'm going to be honest with you. Zach Wilson did have some rush touchdowns, though, I believe. Let's move on. Cowboys and Giants. Cowboys inch close to a playoff berth as their defense and DeMarcus Lawrence dominates. Dak Prescott actually had a pretty good game this time. 217 for a touchdown. At least he didn't throw a pick. He's been making mistakes here recently. Matt Glennon, who fucking cares? One of the worst quarterbacks in the league put up 99 yards and 3 interceptions, not touchdowns. Booker, a really good running back on New York, though, 74 yards. Troy Pollard, he also had 74 yards rushing, but one of the best backup running backs in the league had 74. Dalton Schultz, solid 67 for a touchdown. And Kenny Golladay, shout out to Kenny Golladay, 3 receptions for 53 yards. You gotta love seeing guys from your division excel on different teams. but it's just unfortunate. The Giants, I don't think, are necessarily out of the playoffs yet, but they're going to be soon. It's almost bound to happen. Moving on to Titans Steelers. Steelers slipped past a turnover-prone Titans. They won by 6. Joe Hayden, what a play, 4th down. And they stopped Titans, and they just kneeled the clock. Ryan Tannehill might be the worst quarterback on a winning team. Really? You're coming out here and putting up 153 yards and an interception. That is bad. Ben Roethlisberger had 148 yards. Very slow game offensively. Najee Harris just 18 rush yards. But I will say, Deontay Foreman in the place of Derrick Henry, 108 yards, not quite enough. Westbrook had 32 yards. Deontay Johnson, he's going to kill for Pittsburgh. He only had 38. But again, like I said, this was very much a defensive game, and the Steelers come out the other end of it. They are now an over 500 team. And with the Ravens being shaky with Lamar Jackson and possibly the Browns falling off due to COVID issues, who knows who's going to win that division? That's one of the biggest toss-ups in the league. It's been like that for years, honestly. That division has been so competitive, and I love it. Let's move on to Texans-Jaguars. Texans end a 3-game skid with a 14-point victory at the lowly Jaguars. Very trash game, honestly. No implications here. Both teams are pretty much out of the playoffs. Mills had 209 for 2 touchdowns and a pick. Trevor Lawrence just 210, nothing else. Jerome Robinson, no, you had 75 yards and a touchdown, pretty good. Rex Burkhead, crazy enough, 41 yards rushing. Brandon Cooks, 102 yards for 2 touchdowns. He was one of the bigger fantasy performers of the week. And Jacksonville's tight end, O'Shaughnessy, had 60 yards receiving. Do I really need to talk about this game that much? I mean, it's cool pretty much. You're just stat padding. I mean, you're not making the playoffs. Neither of these teams are making the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence, just finish your rookie campaign strong. You're not in any runnings or anything, but just finish the rookie campaign strong. You are on a 2-12 team. That's what's going to happen when you're good in college. You almost want to suck in college on purpose. Like low-key, I don't know. Bengals-Broncos. Bridgewater injured in a Bengals 5-point victory over Broncos. 15-10 is a very weird score for a football game. Bridgewater got taken off a stretcher. I pray for him, man. Joe Burrow, 157 yards and a touchdown in a game with not a lot of offense. That is enough to get the victory. Teddy Bridgewater just 98 yards before he went out. Joe Mixon, 58 yards rushing. Javonte Williams, 72 yards rushing. I mean, this guy's a rising rookie in the league. He is definitely doing amazing. And I don't know if you guys know what this is, but Akwugbana had 58 yards receiving, and Tyler Boyd had a nice 96 yards for a touchdown. He had 96 of the 157 of Joe Burrow's. Nice little win for Cincinnati over a team that's over 500 at the time. Like, that's a really good win. And there's a 3-way tie at the top of the division, I believe. So that's going to be interesting, again, focusing on that division. Falcons and 49ers. 49ers beat the Falcons by 18 for the 5th win in 6 games. They're 5-1 in the last 6. Jimmy Garoppolo, man, he is going under the radar. 18 for 23, 235 and a touchdown. I saw this graphic. I think my uncle showed me. He is a Niners fan. About I think Jimmy Garoppolo's had 9 games over 100 plus passer rating, and second place was Rodgers with 5. But Matt Ryan, 236 for a touchdown. Pretty good game for both teams to an extent. But Mike Davis only had 21 yards rushing. And Wilson, dude, oh my gosh, Wilson lit it up. 110 yards and a touchdown. George Kittle's going to continue to play some decent football here. 93 yards receiving. And that Gage guy, 91 yards and a touchdown. Man, that guy is tough. That guy is very, very tough. Very good catcher. Very good at catching the ball. I can definitely see a future with him and Atlanta. He's a very good he's a nice young talent, honestly. I love watching that guy play. Saints and Buccaneers, one of the worst games of the fucking year. Saints frustrate Brady again. They beat the Super Bowl champ Buccaneers by 9 points, 9-0. The first shutout of Tom Brady's career in 15 years. Not the first of his whole career. Tom Brady, 214 and a touchdown. Looked fucking horrible on his record, 26 for 48. It looked terrible for his MVP campaign. Taysom Hill, 154 yards. Taysom Hill also had 33 yards rushing, and Rashad Jones had 63, so pretty decent. Running for Tampa Bay, receiving-wise, Godwin had 49. And that Callaway guy had a great game. 6 receptions for 112 yards, man. he was their whole receiving offense. Shout out to Callaway helping them Saints get the win. This is very much needed. There's a lot of 7-7 teams in the NFC and overall in the league. So like if you can get over that 500 hump, you're almost guaranteed a playoff spot in the NFL, I feel like. Yeah. Let's look at the Monday game, starting with the Raiders and Browns. We got two more games to talk about here. Carlson field goal gives the Raiders a 16-14 win versus a COVID-ravaged the Browns. Oh, the Browns aren't 8-6; they're 7-7. So you know what? The Steelers are half a game ahead of the Browns. The Browns are last in their division at a 500 record. Like I said, that is just how competitive it is in that division. You know, Derek Carr put up 236 for a touchdown and a pick. Mullins, honestly, not too bad. I mean, 147 and a touchdown. Josh Jacobs, 52 yards. Nick Chubb, 91 yards and a touchdown. Pretty good running back battle there on paper. Peoples-Jones, 48 yards receiving. Jones for the Raiders, 67 yards receiving. And as you guys know, obviously, they can't use Ruggs because he's arrested. They can't use Waller because he's out for the year. They have very limited stuff. I mean, obviously, their star is going to be Hunter Renfrow. Two 7-7 teams in the AFC here now. Good game for the Raiders. You know, that's a very much needed win. They were under 500, which is very disappointing, but they got the win, so shout out to them. Last game of the week, we have the Vikings and the Bears. Very important to me. It's a divisional battle. You know, the Vikings won, but they're still 3 games behind us. We clinched the division, actually. Cousins throws for 2 touchdowns as the Vikings beat the Bears by 8 points. I heard from Bears fans that it was a refs issue. I don't know. I didn't watch it, so I'm not going to complain about the refs. I'll be on the Bears side, though, if it's about the refs. Kirk Cousins, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Justin Fields put up 285 yards on a touchdown. Very good game. High praise for Justin Fields here. I think there were a lot of missed roughing the passer calls. He was getting roughed up. They waited till the last second to get a last-second touchdown, which wasn't necessary. But, you know, Dalvin Cook, 89 yards rushing. David Montgomery, 60. Justin Jefferson, 47 yards and a touchdown. Very slow, very bad game for him, honestly. Cole Kmet, 71 yards. Yeah, I mean, that's a divisional battle, and the Bears are 4-10. I think they're done. I'm pretty sure I don't know. I wouldn't say that. But anyways, that is the video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Some news here. Tomorrow we got the Spider-Man movie review. I watched that last night. It was absolutely fucking incredible. I will give you guys my thoughts on it. And we will also be playing this Matrix thing on the PlayStation, which I think is fucking dope. And I'm really hyped because Madden is dropping some content tomorrow. You guys know I'm a fucking Madden G over here. You know I play Madden hardcore. Hopefully you enjoyed the analysis over here. Hopefully you enjoyed the football for the week. Hopefully your team won. If you won, put a W in the chat. If you lost, put an L in the chat. Whatever. It's GZTV. GZTV. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you boys tomorrow morning, because tomorrow morning we're going to do the Spider-Man review. I'm going to watch Homecoming tomorrow night as well. We're going to do the Spider-Man review. I have a dentist appointment at noon. Then after that, we're going to stream the Matrix game, and then we're going to be done for the day. So